When I was younger, the PlayStation 2 was blowing my mind. The graphics, sound and gameplay all seemed to drastically improve from the PlayStation 1, and in some cases, I thought I was playing real life. Games like Gran Turismo 3 did look very lifelike back in 2002, but other games were benefiting from the PlayStation 2's power. Games with advanced physics engines started to pop up, and no game put this to greater use than Stuntman. Reflections were well known for their Driver series at this point, and while making the third game, they decided to create a game where their new engine was put through its paces. How about being a stuntman? It's a good way to see how the players can cope with the demands of driving their cars to the limit. Is it worth a second or even third look today? Let's see. We don't get a lot to play with when we start Stuntman. Stuntman Career and Stunt Constructor are the main aspects of the game, although you do have driving games as well. More on that later. Getting straight into the game, Stuntman Career is the most important mode, as you'll find it's the only way to unlock anything for the other modes. In this mode, you'll perform stunts for a given film, and your task is to perform all of the driving stunts in a scene without messing up. Sounds difficult, and well, it is. The game, you'll find, loves to push your skills and patience to the limit. How does it work? Well, you'll get a brief look at the stunt and a quick monologue explained by the driver before you try it. In other words, this is a trial and error approach to the situation at hand. Ironically, the instruction manual has all of the stunts, their difficulty, and some hints on how to beat the stage. Going back to the game, the director will call out many different directions and stunts to perform. You'll see icons indicating where the stunt takes place, the type of stunt, and how much of it contributes to passing the level. You'll also have these green arrows pointing you to where you need to go next, as the director doesn't always tell you where you need to go next.
Through the barn!
I used to be caught out until I realised this back in the day. Also, this game was the first time I ever did a handbrake turn. Might explain why I'm quite good with it in other racing games, probably. At this point, you're wondering why Stuntman is so notorious to most people, right? Simple. The gameplay is heavily dependent on your skills with the various vehicles, plus the advanced physics engine takes center stage for both dramatic and frustrating effect. On one hand, most objects have physics baked into them, and when the car interacts with them, it looks mostly believable and spectacular when everything works seamlessly. However, misjudge or mistime any aspect of the stunt, and you'll most likely fail, and there's many ways to do that. A countdown timer is ticking away as you play, and if it hits 0, you'll have to try again. If you fail to keep up with a chase car, the stunt will fail, so on and so on. The stakes are high, and failure is more likely to occur than success. A bit like reality, unfortunately.
Go blind left down the slope. Through the crates. Through the gap.
The chances of you completing a stunt 100% on the first attempt are slim at best. But don't worry, there is a reward for all the failure beforehand. Not only do you get a slick replay of what you did, you also gain new cars and toys to use in other modes. A nice way of making you want to complete the stunt properly, even if that means suffering through it over and over. I won't lie, when playing and failing a stunt knowing what to do is almost enough to throw the television out and not play. Thankfully, the amount of satisfaction when it's finally completed and also looks good in the replay is one of the best highs I ever seem to get. It gets better too. The game has these custom-made trailers at the end of completing all of the stunts, and it uses real in-game footage of stunts you completed, meaning everyone who plays Stuntman will get different footage used in these segments. That's very clever and really cool.
You don't recover from a case like that. That's why I'm here. They need me to fail.
You find anything, and I mean anything, you come straight to me.
We can be controlled.
You gotta think real hard, Tom. Real hard about who you trust.
Oh, and in between stunts, you need to do these shows where you need to impress a live crowd with your skills. There's 6 of these in total, making you do different stunts, including using a monster truck and setting a new jump world record. Yes, they are annoying to do, but what did you expect? An easy time? Heck no! That and the 6 films you'll be working on means you'll be spending a lot of time here, and expect to have sunk around 4 to 7 hours once you finally get to the end of the career mode. Yes, the game is rather short, so I guess this might explain why the difficulty is so high, maybe unnecessarily so. I'll defend Stuntman though. The variety the game provides and the satisfaction of completing each stunt cannot be overshadowed. It feels so good and you want that high to continue so long as you can progress to the later stunts. On that note, the handling model is fantastic. Each vehicle feels just right and all are fun to drive and mess around with. Makes you feel like a professional is behind the wheel. Although I do hate some of the stunts, driving these cars feels pretty good. Also, there is a nice sense of speed, especially towards the later stunts. The snowmobile though, fuck that thing, never liked it, still don't today.
Into the skis. Jump the gap. Chase the mark.
Let's quickly talk about the films you partake in. There's 6 in total and all are rip-offs of popular films of the time. Toothless and Whopping is a comedy caper flick set in the streets of London, and it has a premise that's similar to Guy Ritchie's Snatch and Lock, Stock and 2 Smoking Barrels. A Whoopin' and a Hollerin' is a Dukes of Hazzard knockoff that even has the famous corkscrew jump the series is well known for. Blood Oath takes place in the crowded streets of Bangkok and is a John Woo-styled action movie. Conspiracy is a sort of Tom Clancy thriller that puts you on the back of a snowmobile and a 4x4 on the final stunt. The Scarab of Lost Souls is an Indiana Jones ripoff that is so obvious, even its theme song sounds just like the movies.
Action through the entrance. Left around Monument.
Live Twice for Tomorrow is a James Bond copy that even lets you drive a remote-controlled car. Pretty epic, I must say. It might be my favourite out of the 6 films. I may as well touch on the other modes. Stunt Constructor allows you to make your own stunts using the stadium as your playground. From the toys you unlocked from the career mode, you can put down ramps, cars, fences and even hoops to wreck or to jump into. There's even cannons and a huge loop ramp to use. Sadly, while conceptually sound, the amount you can put down is rather limited. Just when you are starting to make something good, the game stops you from putting down any more ornaments. The creative aspect is hindered as a result, and there's only so much you can do with these items. This mode is still a lot of fun, mind you, but it could have been so much better had it allowed you to put down more. Driving games are a set of different tests that range from speed to precision and of course, stunts. Speed is basically completing the course as fast as possible from any car you like. Some tracks are circuits and others are point A to point B like a rally circuit. Stunt mode has you trying to get these tokens, 10 in total before time runs out. There's 3 in total, try to beat them all. Now, let's talk about the graphics and sound. The game has an interesting art style. It looks realistic in appearance and this is reflected in how the cars and environments look. The cars have a good amount of detail applied and because the engine is fairly advanced, the cars can be turned into scrap metal pretty quickly. Various panels can come off, windows can be smashed and even landing on jumps will damage your car. It's very impressive to be sure. The shadows are great too, thick and very realistic with every object possible getting shadow detail. A lot of PlayStation 2 games did not have shadow detail as good as this, let me tell you. I enjoy looking at Stuntman. Some things do leave a lot to be desired though. The effects from explosions are a bit lackluster, the character models look poor for a PlayStation 2 game and animate rather stiffly, especially the crowds reacting to the scenes, and cars flip onto their roofs too frequently. The frame rate can drop dramatically at times, and too much on screen causes it to stay low for extended periods of time.
Jump through the boxes. Get close to the truck. Swerve around the truck.
With everything said, I really like Stuntman. Even after all these years, I love how rewarding the game is, and it's just fun to beat a level when it's starting to cause you a hard time. This is not for everyone, and some people will say it's too frustratingly hard for its own good. But the high you experience cannot be overlooked, and there's just enough here to keep you playing for many hours at a time. At the very least, try Stuntman and see what you think. You folks tell me, what do you think of Stuntman? Let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.